But tonight our big focus is on that India Today Axis My India exit poll that has predicted the BJP is set to retain the battleground state, its bastion of Gujarat. As per our survey, and these are the big numbers, the BJP projected to get 99 to 113 seats in the 182-member Gujarat Assembly. The Congress, on the other hand, is set to win 68 to 82 seats. So the Congress, which had 61 seats, making a marginal recovery, midpoint 75, up by about 14. But it's the BJP down by 10, but still good enough to make a majority. Others 1 to 4. In voting percentages, Congress got around 42% of the votes. The BJP is getting around 47. But these are the big numbers that you really need to look at. Remember, exit poll is done. Vote share of the Congress has come up marginally. They are at about 42%. They were 39% last time. The BJP 47%, marginally down. They were 48% last time. So clearly advantage remains with the BJP in their battleground state. Okay, let's then turn to the hill state of Himachal Pradesh. What is the India Today My Axis My India poll projecting? Projecting a landslide victory for the BJP. 5 years after it was swept out of power, it looks like it's set to come back. Look at the big numbers now for Himachal Pradesh. The BJP, as per the India Today Axis poll, expected to get 47 to 55 seats in Himachal Pradesh. The Congress likely to win around 13 to 20 seats. 41% is the Congress's vote, 50% is the BJP's vote. Translate that into seats. We believe in terms of seats, 68-member assembly, the BJP is poised to sweep Himachal Pradesh is what we are predicting. The seat numbers are very clearly mission 50 of the government is set to be achieved. Okay, here are the seat share numbers. I'm asking my producer to move faster. He should have first given you the big numbers. 13 to 20 for the Congress, and the BJP is poised to get around 50 seats, 47 to 55 out of 68. Okay, those are the big numbers. The big questions, of course, is the Modi magic still intact? What do the results mean for Rahul Gandhi? Is there a sharp urban-rural divide in Gujarat? Has Hardik Patel been a flop? These are some of the questions that I'm going to raise. Is the Modi magic still intact? Where does it leave Rahul Gandhi, who's taking over as Congress president on Saturday? Is there a sharp urban-rural divide in Gujarat, as our poll is going to suggest? Has Hardik Patel been a hit or a flop? And of course, the larger question, what do these election results mean for 2019? Okay, these are some of these questions that I'm going to raise. Raj Chengappa, editorial director, India Today, is with me. Dr. Sandeep Shastri, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Jain University, someone who's been a preeminent political researcher with Lok Niti, covers elections across the world. Dr. Prashant Jha, Associate Editor, Hindustan Times, who's written a fine book, How the BJP Wins on the UP Elections. RPN Singh of the Congress with us. Javed Ansari, Senior Journalist, former National Affairs Editor here. And from the BJP, Seshadri Chari is joining us. I appreciate all of you joining me on this big day when we are bringing you the exit poll numbers. First reactions, Raj Chengappa, to what you've seen. We'll come to 2019 in my second segment, but just today, if these numbers hold, the BJP will be in power in 19 states of this country. Himachal will be the latest they'll have rested. Gujarat, they'll have won for a 6th consecutive time. Only the CPM has won 7 in Bengal earlier. What does this suggest for you about the larger picture in this country?
One, that Mr. Modi, despite the sort of stuff that one expected in Gujarat, if this is true, is somewhat invincible. Himachal, one expected that the Congress would lose there. But in Gujarat, you were seeing the Congress get some traction. But then he was able to come and turn around the elections by his campaigning, by his oratory, and of course the sort of strategy that they adopted. We must also give credit to Amit Shah and the BJP party for the kind of organizational abilities that they had. So the Modi-Shah duo will, it strengthens the Modi-Shah duo tremendously. As we run up to 2019, it gives him the momentum in government. He can go ahead and do what he feels like, otherwise he would be in some...
So you believe with Parliament starting tomorrow, he even becomes more confident, he in a sense is more assured. I know the numbers come out only on Monday, but with these results, you believe he will be even more confident. He'll have put back any worries about demonetization and GST behind him.
Well, certainly, yes. I mean, the winner...
The political worries that he had, that this could influence, affect his vote in his home state.
Well, you know, he had sort of pushed for 150 seats, but that seems to be a little bit of hype compared to all the results that's coming. Of course, this is still the exit poll that's on. But if he does what he does in Gujarat, pulls it back the way he has done so far, then I think you are seeing, in some senses, great amount of momentum towards 2019.
Right.
The Congress is on the back foot, though I would still grant Rahul Gandhi and the Congress that they did put up a good show this time.
You know, if you're going to look at these numbers, there are two ways to look at it, Dr. Shastri. One is the glass is half full for the BJP. They're winning Gujarat yet again. They're wresting back Himachal. The other way to look at it is they're actually down 12% in Gujarat compared to Lok Sabha, 59% then down to 47%. That they are outside Ahmedabad and Vadodara virtually in a dead heat with the Congress. As per our polls in Saurashtra, and I'll put the numbers on our sidebar, the BJP is 9% down to the Congress. North Gujarat outside Ahmedabad, 5% down. There is a sense also that the BJP has faced anti-incumbency and only the Modi factor has saved them. So there are two ways to look at it. Is it that the BJP is a party which is now facing that old enemy of every politician, time? Or is it a party which has still got the momentum of UP riding on that? They're coming into Gujarat, Himachal and then into 2018-19.
If these numbers hold, both in terms of vote share and seat projection, clearly I think it is something that the BJP would be delighted about and would help them build up their momentum for the assembly elections next year and the Lok Sabha elections in 2019. However, having said that, I would add another point. I think there is a matter of alarm when you look at the detail for the BJP, that a state which they have retained after 22 years, they would have loved to retain it with a much bigger and more impressive victory. But if these numbers are to hold, it looks to be a victory which is just crossing the halfway mark. So if that were to be the case, I think there would need to necessarily have to be a rethink in the party in terms of strategy, because next year you are going into 3 more states where at least in 2 of them you are trying to once again retain your presence, having been there for 3 elections.
So anti-incumbency is something that the BJP will face in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. Maybe an element of fatigue also in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. But Prashant, you know, jo jeeta wo Sikandar. Are we going to quibble over whether BJP gets 100 or 120? The BJP itself will probably say they'll still get 150. Is that number important, or is it simply winning? Can the Congress clutch onto the straw that we have grown by 10 seats in these polls, we are doing better? Or is it simply that they are still not able to combat the Modi-Shah juggernaut?
A victory is a victory, a defeat is a defeat in an election. If the BJP wins, and it wins in such difficult circumstances after a long record in office, I think we have to give credit to Narendra Modi's appeal and to Amit Shah's organization. Having said that, I think this campaign has thrown up vulnerabilities which the BJP will have to take into account as it moves forward to 2019. One, the economic narrative is stressed. Young people who have invested in higher education are not getting jobs, are disappointed. 2, there is rural distress and farmers are angry, and it's not just confined to Gujarat but other states also. And 3, their social coalitions are fracturing. These are things that they will have to look out for. But I think Modi would be a reassured man, because this is the most important election for him till 2019. The 3 elections that come next year.
This was a Naak ka sawal election.
If MP and Rajasthan, they would like to win it, but if they lose, Narendra Modi can still sleep well. He would have spent sleepless nights if they lost this.
Okay, so before I come to Javed, just let me get the 2 politicians in for a moment to get their initial perspectives, because Seshadri Chari, looking at these numbers, it would seem the BJP is on a roll. But when I look at the detailing within the numbers, you should be worried. In all the rural parts of Gujarat, you are struggling. It's the urban parts that are lifting you. Out of the 55 urban seats, you are leading in 42 as per our survey. But in the rural parts, you are leading in 62 versus the Congress's 64. And I'm just wondering, is there a warning there, somewhere deep down, that you can't take the voters for granted now? You can't give minimum support price to cotton farmers of 800, 900 rupees when you promise them 2,000. Is there any worry or not? Or are you just happy with these numbers?
No, Rajdeep, since your question is no. Since your question is based on the exit poll results, yes, it will be very difficult to answer this question from this point of view. Obviously, you know it, and we all know it. But let us presume that the same figures that you have today with you will continue to be there on 18th also.
Yes.
In that case, I think what you say is correct. It is a matter for concern, because if you are not able to convince the farmers that whatever we have done in all these years, in spite of a very difficult government at the center, remember till 2014 the Gujarat farmers were dependent not only on the BJP but also on the central government as far as Narmada river water and so many other issues are concerned. So there were issues, but in spite of that, if the agricultural part of the voting has come down for us, I think we should be very careful.
I'm glad to hear that note of caution from you, Seshadri Chari, because I rarely see that in politicians. It's good to hear that. But RP and Singh, on the other hand, take a look at your numbers. In a state with strong anti-incumbency, the fact is you are still not able to defeat the BJP if these numbers hold. The fact is that Narendra Modi factor, the Gujarati Asmita, the manner in which he is able to connect with the voters seems to have worked, particularly in central, south and the Ahmedabad regions. I mean, you know, the Congress, is it going to clutch onto the straws that we are growing by 10 seats, that we are growing by 2%? It's a sign of better things to come. At the end of the day, as Prashant put it, defeat is defeat, victory is victory. Jo jeeta wo Sikandar.
Two quick things, Rajdeep. Just as I read on my Twitter,
yes,
let's not wait for the exit polls. In 48 hours, we'll have the exact polls.
Yes.
And then this conversation would be better. But as if you look at the figures and you talk about Gujarat Smita, you yourself are saying that in most parts of Gujarat, the BJP is losing. And I can tell you, when we have the results in 48 hours, these results will show, I can tell you with guarantee, that the Congress is going to do much better.
No, much better, but I don't hear congressmen saying they're going to win. You see, it almost seems as if you're in an exam where if I get my 60%, I'm happy. You're not looking for a distinction.
Whatever I've spoken to all the people who are based in Gujarat in the organization, they are extremely confident of the Congress winning the election.
Winning, actually crossing the halfway mark.
Yes, positively.
And if you don't win, where does that leave Rahul Gandhi? Which is the question I want to ask you, Javed Ansari. 2 days from now, Rahul Gandhi takes over as the Congress president. Where does this leave Rahul Gandhi if, on the eve of his presidency, or 2 days after he takes over on Saturday, on Monday, the results show a whipping for the Congress in Himachal and they lose Gujarat? Let's assume they lose both these states. Where does that leave Rahul Gandhi?
He remains president.
No, he remains president, but is he the kind of losing captain? He keeps losing series after series, but captain will remain the same.
Look, when India was losing to West Indies under Sunil Gavaskar, nobody said throw out Sunil Gavaskar. They are not losing Gujarat because of Rahul Gandhi. You have to give him credit. He has put this whole thing together. He was instrumental in bringing Alpesh, Jignesh and Hardik Patel on one platform. They put up a good fight. He lives to fight another day. Of course, they would have been very happy if they had won. But I don't think this is a disaster.
So for them, for Congress, getting 75, 80 seats will be seen as a major, as some way.
You know, he can.
It will be seen as a road to the future.
Yes, they can take some comfort from this. He can take this as a blueprint for a greater amalgamation of opposition parties and bringing together a social coalition, empowering regional leaders as well.
Interesting, because you know it almost seems therefore that you could have a result where everyone can take something away from it on the positive side. If these results hold, that the Congress will say, look, we haven't, the BJP is 150, they've got 110. And the BJP will say, look, we won a state 6 consecutive times. Does Rahul Gandhi also get to take away something positive if these results hold?
No, I would call them lessons that you can take away from this. And one of them is that given the momentum that the Congress built up in the last 2-3 months, if they really had a very good or played the role of opposition in Gujarat far better than what they did in the previous 4-5 years, they had a great advantage. After all, 2 chief ministers came after Mr. Modi. Both of them didn't seem very impressive. You didn't see that kind of clamor that they had, that they could pin the government down. So I think if they worked much earlier, the results would have been far better on this one. The second thing I think that's very encouraging for them is that if you look at the results, rural Gujarat seems to have backed them considerably. I don't know if that's been flashed already.
It is, yes.
And the discontent among the poor and as Prashant was saying, even the youth and the farmers. This is something that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress needs to work on, a narrative that could challenge Mr. Modi and his team, plus in all the states where they are in opposition now, really go hard now itself. Don't wait for the last 3 months, the last mile to win the election.
You know, we were showing pictures of Rahul Gandhi going temple hopping, and this has become a controversial issue. When I look at the numbers, or when I look at the issues where people don't seem to be impressed either by Rahul Gandhi's temple hopping or by the BJP's promise of Ram Mandir. The issues which have resonated are issues of minimum support price, of jobs, of unemployment, of better education. I'm just wondering whether our politicians are disconnected from the reality. If the Congress had stuck to their Vikas line, and if the BJP had not been able to, and maybe that's the future for any party. The voters want to know what you will provide. Not temple hopping, not photo ops, and there's a lesson even for Mr. Modi perhaps, that don't polarize the electorate. There is nothing in this survey that indicates massive polarization this time. In fact, every community is split. Every Hindu community is split between the Congress and the BJP. Is there a lesson for both the national parties then, if these numbers hold?
Yes, Rajiv, there seems to be a clear message for both parties. The Congress, I think the whole temple hopping thing was something they had to bring in because they had not really worked in Gujarat during the entire 5 years where they were in the opposition.
Or did they need to shed the pro-Muslim image? Was it that? I mean, Zafar Sareshwala is with me. Zafar Sareshwala, was there a conscious need for the Congress to shed a pro-Muslim image to combat Narendra Modi's powerful Gujarati Asmita? Do you support the manner in which Rahul Gandhi went temple hopping? Do you believe that was necessary for the Congress to do? And was it necessary for Mr. Modi to then raise Ram Mandir in response?
Rajdeep, this is nothing. Yeah. Rajdeep, just give me some time and let me complete. First of all, I have never seen, as you yourself mentioned now, there was no polarization at all in the election on the ground. For example, we have seen in Gujarat that you hardly have any Muslim MLA. You only have a BJP MLA, but Muslims have been doing their business, like Muslims organizing prize distribution functions, school openings. So in last 5 years, which I had never seen before, the BJP Hindu MLAs visiting Muslim areas. First time ever I had seen that in major areas like even Johapura, in Paldi, in Kalupur, Daryapur, in Jabalpur, in Bapu Nagar, BJP candidates going to Muslim areas for their canvassing, which I had never seen before. So this is the change. On the ground there was nothing about polarization at all. But you know, this Congress party had started this long back. In 80s, Congress party used to give 20 Muslim seats, but they have not been given more than 5. Since last 30 years,
for the Hindu vote.
Almost
the
25 years,
Gujarat,
in 6
the
elections,
battle of Gujarat is for the Hindu.
Congress party has not given a seat to a Muslim. Single Muslim.
No, I take your point. Yes, Prashant. Prashant, the sense I'm getting...
Rajdeep, completely with the issues that are identified in your survey.
Yes.
I do think, sir, sometimes the politics of communal identities are overtly expressed. Sometimes it is covertly expressed. In this campaign, what we saw with the temple hopping was Congress trying to wash away that perception. We did see BJP make this last-minute push for Hindutva mobilization. We don't know how many votes among which social groups have come to the BJP or got energized with the rhetoric of the past week. I think it's very difficult to quantify. Just the fact that, you know, Congress MLAs or Rahul Gandhi did not go to any Muslim area, did not go to a Muslim shrine. That tells you about the Hinduization of the polity. I don't think you can divorce development issues with identity issues. Both are interlinked, and it has played a part somewhere in the Gujarati elections.
And somewhere it has played the part, RP and Singh, that when it comes to identity politics, the BJP is on stronger grounds. This is the home of Hindutva laboratory. You can't tell Narendra Modi, I'm a better Hindu than you. You can't in a way combat Narendra Modi on Gujarati Asmita. In a sense, he changed the narrative. He made the narrative about himself. You perhaps fell into that trap. You had started this election about Vikas. Somewhere you were forced to respond to his emotional pitch to the Gujarati voter. And you cannot beat him on that.
No, I think that'd be an unfair call. If you see Rajdeep, throughout this election, Mr. Rahul Gandhi kept the narrative alive about the issues that touch Gujarat. Right from the beginning to the end, there were many attacks about Pakistan, about other things, and making ridiculous allegations against Dr. Manmohan Singh. But Rahul Gandhi kept it directly. The narrative never changed from Vikas. The issues he raised The questions he raised and all his speeches, if you listen to them, they were about the people of Gujarat and the problems faced by Gujarat.
You know, my sense though is that somewhere you outsource the campaign to Hardik Patel, as some are suggesting. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm just wondering whether Hardik Patel is hit or flop. Among Kadwa Patels, as per our survey, 50% went with the Congress, 42% went with the BJP. This is the subcaste that Hardik belongs to. Among Leva Patels, BJP is 48 and Congress is 43. So Hardik Patel gave the energy to the Congress. We are not sure how much of that vote actually got translated on the ground. That we will know on Monday. But clearly, they seem to rely on Hardik Patel in a way. Do you agree that you can't produce leaders like Hardik Patel in the Congress? Show me one Hardik Patel equivalent leader, young, charismatic, ready to take on Narendra Modi.
Well,
your leaders are very soft. You can't take on Modi and Shah by being soft.
Well, in Punjab, did we win? Did the Congress win in Punjab? Did Modi lose?
You had a strong local leader, Amrinder Singh, who virtually forced you to give him the...
That's exactly you're saying that
And Modi was not your principal adversary there.
But he is not the principal adversary here. Why would he say he's the principal? He campaigned everywhere. In Bihar, he was the principal adversary. He lost that election.
Do you accept? I asked you a straight question. Why cannot the Congress produce? Hardik Patel seems to have helped you overall.
Yeah,
why can you not produce leaders like Hardik in the Congress?
When we didn't have a Hardik, we still won 61 seats in Gujarat. You're trying to say that, without doubt, the kind of help that all the three youngsters who got to the Congress party was tremendous. Take away what Hardik Patel
Yes.
You could reverse the argument
Yes.
and look at the way the BJP campaign. Who else was there but Mr. Modi? I mean, it's the same thing. They do not have a second line of leadership in Gujarat.
So are you saying Modi is the new Indira Gandhi? who has to come from Delhi, catapult himself?
And I think there's a lesson there for the BJP as well, if you're talking about lessons, is that there is no real true second line of leadership. If Mr. Modi is not present, the BJP could go either way.
That's an interesting point, Seshadri Chari, to take to you. Do you accept that for the BJP today, you are also going in the Congress way of the 1970s. You fight state elections using they fought it using Indira Gandhi, you fought it using Narendra Modi. Our surveys still show Modi is the tallest leader of Gujarat by some distance. He's gone away and there is a leadership vacuum. And the BJP has been unable to fill that vacuum.
No.
No?
No, Rajdeep, we are looking at a broader picture. We are looking at a broader picture. Your comparison of Modi and Indira Gandhi, I'll tell you one thing. Both have some commonalities when it comes to winning elections. Mrs. Indira Gandhi was a tall leader of her times, but she had an agenda. She could connect with the people of the country. She used slogans like Garibi Hatao and then bank nationalization. She took very harsh steps, but very bold steps also. But at the same time, she had a team, and more importantly, the Congress party had a very strong cadre at that time. Compare that with Modi. Modi has a strong leadership qualities. He is able to catch the imagination of the people, connect with the people. At the same time, he has a team, and at the same time, he has a strategy. And
where is the team in Gujarat? Where is the team in Gujarat? Vijay Rupani and Anandiben Patel were both disasters, which is why Mr. Modi has had to come and save you from anti-incumbency. If our numbers are right, this election will have been won because Mr. Modi arrested the anti-incumbency on the ground and the Congress was unable to capitalize on it. Yes, Prashant.
I think the point about the Prime Minister is that post-1991, we have not seen Prime Ministers who are mass leaders of this scale. Narasimha Rao was not a mass leader in North India. Deve Gowda was not a mass leader outside Karnataka. I.K. Gujral was a mass leader in the India International Centre and nowhere else. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a mass leader but campaigned sparingly. Manmohan Singh was not a mass leader. Suddenly you have a Prime Minister who is also a mass leader and invested in electioning and campaigning. So that is why this disjunct and we are not used to it. But the point that you are making is true about local leadership. If we go by this poll, Vijay Rupani is in a tough fight in Rajkot West. Nitin Patel is losing Mehsana. This is what your exit poll is showing.
And in fact, our exit poll is also showing that if Mr. Modi was not there on the scene, the BJP was in serious trouble in Gujarat this time. He has become the Brahmastra that they have to use in every election.
In fact, in the last 1 hour, when you went to the people and talked to people, everybody is saying this is Modi's victory and nobody is talking about the Chief Minister's victory. So I think the BJP strategy very clearly, even though Sheshadri Chariji doesn't accept that, it's very clearly Indira Gandhi's strategy.
If I'm going into a battle, I'm going to use all the weapons. If my best weapon is Narendra Modi, I will use it. If he's the Virat Kohli of Indian politics.
This election became about one question. Narendra Modi asking Gujaratis, will you let me down or will you stay with me?
So he played the emotional card at the end, and that emotional card seems to have worked.
And the only way the Congress can respond to this is by developing mass-based leaders at the state level, which they did not do in Gujarat.
Which they might do in your home state, the two of you home state with Siddaramaiah. So we may have a tougher fight in Karnataka. I'll come to that, because when we return, we'll look at that. What does this mean for the next year? If these exit poll numbers are right, are we seeing the emergence of a potential Team Rahul versus Brand Modi? And how will that play out in the run-up to 2019? Back in a moment. You're watching the big exit poll numbers here on India Today, where it appears BJP is still on a roll. Welcome back. Gujarat has finished voting, which is why we've come today with the big exit poll numbers. The India Today My India Axis poll that is giving the BJP a clear victory in Gujarat and a sweep in Himachal Pradesh. But within that Gujarat story, there is a story within a story. It's a story of a state that seems to be voting, as per our exit polls, in very different ways depending on which region of Gujarat you're looking at. Shiv Arur gives you a sense of why Gujarat seems to be split wide open this time.
Moving on to region-wise vote share in Gujarat, starting with Saurashtra and Kutch region. The strong performance being predicted for the Congress party in the India Today Axis My India exit poll, with 49 seats there going to the Congress, 41 to the BJP and 10 to the other parties. Well, from Saurashtra and Kutch now to the 53 seats in North Gujarat. First, of course, without Ahmedabad, how do the figures actually play down? Again, the exit poll predicting a strong performance of the Congress party with 47 seats for the Congress plus, 42 for the BJP and 11 for the other parties. Strong performance for the Congress in Saurashtra and Kutch, as also North Gujarat without Ahmedabad. But in central Gujarat, expectedly in the India Today Axis My India exit poll, strong performance predicted for the BJP with 51 seats, only 39 for the Congress, and 10 seats is what we're predicting for the others as far as the regional vote share is concerned. And here's how the region-wise vote share in South Gujarat finally plays out in our exit poll. It's 54% vote share for the BJP, only 36% for the Congress and 10% for the others. Well, given the very inspired campaign that was led by Rahul Gandhi and the Congress on the ground in Gujarat, they were hoping to galvanize forces, create more numbers in their known bastions, as also try and erode and eat into the BJP's strongholds in several parts of Gujarat. Has that actually played out? Well, here are the figures. First, the seat share figures for Saurashtra and Kutch. This is how the numbers play out in the India Today Axis My India exit.
Okay, so there you've seen Shiv giving you a sense of how those numbers have played out on the ground. Clearly, this state is split wide open, which is why we are a little worried with our exit poll. I know I asked my pollster Pradeep Gupta how certain he is it's 100%. Prashant, do you see any concern when you see those numbers? Because there are some local channels now which are suggesting Congress around 80-85, BJP around 95. They are suggesting it's as tight as that.
I think the Saurashtra figure is something that could go either way. What our poll is showing is 49% for Congress and 40% for BJP. I think there's a 9% edge that the Congress has there. But we are giving Congress only 30 seats. If the vote to seat conversion is higher there, things could turn. When we asked Pradeep Gupta this, what he told us a little while ago was that their model is different. They go to each seat and on the basis of that they look at vote share. But that's something that I would be cautious about, the Saurashtra figures.
Is there any reason to be cautious in this exit poll, or should we be sanguine? Should the BJP look at Axis because it's got every poll right and believe come Monday everything will be fine?
I think the factor on which we need to be cautious is two. One, these twofold division between Saurashtra and North Gujarat on the one hand and Central Gujarat and South Gujarat on the other. Our exit poll projects a particular vote share difference between the Congress and the BJP. Will that vote share difference hold is the critical question. And will that vote share difference translate itself into the seat projection that we have done? Because if the seat projection, especially in Saurashtra and Northern Gujarat, if that seat projection actually results in greater support for the Congress, greater seat share for the
then
Congress,
we are a tighter race.
Then what the Gujarat channels were telling about a tighter race would then become a reality.
Okay.
So I think it's all about how do you translate the vote share into seats. And there, if the exit poll has got it slightly wrong, we could see what's happened, what's being predicted by the local channels.
Let me come though to another troubling factor, because now we can step back. Today, even on this last day, Raj Chengappa, there has been a controversy. This time the controversy, Congress leaders going to the Election Commission, then the BJP Congress leaders claiming that Prime Minister Modi actually campaigned even while he was voting, went on a road show. Now we've been talking about how Modi is the Brahmastra. Has the Brahmastra though also become something which has in a way forced Mr. Modi to do things that Prime Ministers normally don't do? You don't do a road show when you go to vote. Are you worried somewhere that Mr. Modi, in a sense, has got carried away at times?
Rajdeep, you also covered the Uttar Pradesh elections.
Yes.
And when he did Varanasi and the kind of extensive campaigning he did, everybody thought the BJP was on the back foot. And yet, they sweep the elections there. So I'm not sure where this strategy, this win by any means kind of thing that the BJP has adopted, whether it's co-opting other, rivals, whether they're Congress or any other parties. These are things, of course, they will have to introspect and see whether this is the way they would like to go forward in it. But as you said earlier, a winner's a winner. He takes all.
And is that part of the problem, that you in the Congress cannot combat this kind of politics? You all have been used to politics of a very different kind. Suddenly you're finding that Mr. Modi, with Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah, it's take no prisoners. Till the last moment, even while voting, I'm going to go and campaign and have a road show. Now the Congress is crying foul.
Rajdeep, if he is breaking the rules that are set
Yes.
for equal playing field as far as elections are concerned, we have seen how the Election Commission, we have given them enough proof that on the 8th, on the 9th, on the day of the voting, how the BJP and its leaders have actually broken every rule that is possible during election. But the Election Commission has started acting as a puppet. And the kind of narrative that the Prime Minister has taken this election to, that is something the Congress will never stoop to. The ridiculous kind of allegations.
So it doesn't matter to the Congress whether you lose elections after election, but you take the high moral ground and say, I'm not going to stoop to the level of politics that the BJP resorts to.
Do you want to destroy every constitutional office in democracy? He has taken down the office of the ex-Prime Minister. He has taken down the office of the Election Commission. Is this,
unfortunately, Mr. Seshadri Chari,
do you want everything dismantled?
Unfortunately, our line to Mr. Chari
that
is
is
not
the question that we are asking.
No, but the question, Javed Ansari, is that, look, if these results hold, Mr. Modi will turn around and say, look, I brought in a tough decision on demonetization. I brought in GST in a state with a large trader population. And yet people seem to have faith in me. I'm going to take more risks. I've got 2019 and this is where I come into it. In the next year, there are all these elections. Will Mr. Modi now take more risks or will he play safe? Now, generally, Prime Ministers play safe in the last year because their eye is, how do I become more populist? Will this be a more risk-taking Prime Minister you see in the next year because he believes that the people of India are with him?
Rajdeep, conventional wisdom would suggest that in the last year, when the countdown begins to general elections, you become a lot more cautious. But then Mr. Narendra Modi has been known to throw conventional wisdom, to thumb his nose as conventional wisdom. He could be tempted, he might get carried away because he couldn't have faced a tougher situation than he did. So therefore his victory is credible, but I don't think the Election Commission of India has really covered itself in glory. I'm not surprised with what Mr. Narendra Modi did. This is not the first time he's He's sought to stretch things, and this is certainly not the last time that he will do it.
You know, let's understand, looking forward to 2019, are you seeing there is Karnataka first, then there are those 3 North Indian states. There is one view in Delhi which that Mr. Modi will bring forward the election, general elections to the winter of 2018 to offset any anti-incumbency. One thing to win Gujarat, as he seems likely to, which is his home state, but overcoming difficulties of fatigue in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan may be more difficult. Do you believe this election will give him a sense of self-belief that I can go into 2019, or will he want to hold that 2018 winter general election?
See, I think the memory of 2004 continues to haunt the BJP, where they pulled the elections forward and they lost. And the BJP, I think, it's very difficult to predict what Mr. Modi will do, but would like to probably stay on as long as the constitution allows them to stay on in office. But what I want to say is that I think over the next year, he will focus on the economic narrative and getting it back, recovering it. The big disruption next year is going to be Ayodhya. Yes. And if there will be the Supreme Court verdict, that will be the next big disruption.
No, is it a disruption, or will he see it as another weapon?
The opportunity for him.
He's going to see it as
if it's a favourable verdict, we are going to see movement on that.
Can I come in on this?
Yes.
We already have an indication of this. The Prime Minister shed his so-called neutral stand by posing this question. The Congress must tell us whether they are for Babi Masjid or they are for Ram Mandir.
Zafar Sareshwala, do you see Ram Mandir becoming the big issue coming into 2018? Do you believe that there will be what in Gujarat it was only part of the campaign, now it's before the Supreme Court? Do you believe that's the new X factor? Or will Mr. Modi, as you know him, only focus, as he claims, on the economic narrative?
Both. No, Rajdeep.
Or will it be both?
No, two things. Earlier question, Mr. Modi will not shy away from taking any decision. That we have seen in past, in 2007, tough economic decisions even in the times of elections, that he knows, and he can sail against the wind. With regards to Ram Mandir, I don't think, this is not 90s, Rajdeep. I have been moving across the country. I have moved in UP. I have spoken to Hindus, Muslims, even in Gujarat. I don't think, maybe politicians will use it, but it will not cut ice with the people at all.
Do you believe that
economy and economics will only play the role which we have seen in Gujarat also.
What Zafar Sareshwala is saying is right, but I fear he's totally off the mark on this.
Rajchandra Gappa, is the election building on Gujarat, now that GST in a sense will perhaps by the next election have settled down, the fact that demonetization for some will be a distant memory, do you believe the economic narrative will still matter? As we are seeing even in our survey, we've asked the young in particular, youth between 18 and 35 in our survey largely favored the Congress in Gujarat. Is that a warning sign that you better get your economic narrative back on track? Gujarati Asmita, yes, we are helping you to win this election, but we want you to get economic narratives back on track.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. And
so you don't see Ram Mandir becoming a subtext?
Well, certainly that will play a major role.
Yes.
And no one's ruling that out. We don't know what the verdict would be. We are presuming that will be in favor. So let's keep that in a bit,
sure.
Right? But I think the economic question will haunt Mr. Modi as we go forward. The fact that we've just had a bump in the GDP, that's been good for him. But going ahead, if it doesn't convert itself into jobs, into a certain feeling of prosperity, and if this, the pessimism continues as is now, then I think Mr. Modi is in trouble as he heads to 2019, because this country, over a period of time, in Gujarat, his Asmita,
his personal popularity
would have worked. Elsewhere, people are asking, what am I getting out of this government?
Where am I then?
Let's also just put a counter.
Yes.
We are presuming that the BJP has won because every single exit poll has this thing. If you take the reverse of it and see why, in case by some chance the Congress wins,
it'll be an earthquake.
Why? Because if you look at it right through that, he never campaigned to say what he would do for Gujarat in the next 5 years. It was all about performance in the previous
yes, regime. Very quickly, 30 seconds.
As you said, a reversal of the exit poll trend would be an earthquake. But I think what's going to happen, if this exit poll were to hold, what's likely to happen in next year is, a year before the Lok Sabha election, announcement of a high-ticket program, maybe on employment, maybe Jan Dhan Yojana, some amounts in the accounts. Now there is something going to be announced, I'm sure, next year, which will be linked to economic policy to be able to gain support for the election. And finally, the Brahmastra point you made. The question of a Brahmastra is once it's released, you don't know what direction it takes. And that's what's happened in case of
okay, let's wait. We will take a break. When we return, time for final comments. And we'll give you a sense of what I believe is going to happen on Monday. We've heard from the pollsters. You might want to hear from me. Back in a moment. Welcome back to our special coverage, the big exit poll, where we predicted, just to remind you, a major victory for the BJP in Himachal Pradesh and a clear-cut victory once again in Gujarat. Javed Ansari, someone from London sending me a question. Please ask Javed Ansari, what if the Congress actually gets less than what they got last time? Will you then blame Rahul Gandhi's leadership? Why are you only focusing on Modi?
My reply to him is, what if BJP gets less seats than they had last time? Who will he blame?
Okay, that's your reply. Clearly, therefore, I mean, we are seeing this purely in Modi versus Rahul terms, but there are changes that are taking place on the ground, and it's the subtext that is important in elections like this, particularly as we build towards 2019. Final word from you, Prashant. What do you expect, therefore, in Gujarat come Monday? Do you expect these numbers to hold, or do you believe the BJP will get more or less?
Rajdeep, I'm not as brave as you, and I stay away from public predictions. But if these numbers hold true, they will broadly align with what one has sensed while reporting, which is a growing anti-incumbency,
in rural
fracture in social coalition, disenchantment, but Modi remaining very popular, segment of Patidar votes sticking with BJP, and anti-Patel consolidation and Hindutva working for BJP.
15 seconds. Should we go by the numbers or not? The poll of polls I've done an average is about 110.
I think I would go with these numbers, and if these numbers hold, it would be a Modi victory and not a BJP victory.
RP and Singh, should I go with the numbers or not?
Positively not. You'll be surprised.
Positively not? I'll be surprised.
You'll be
Give
surprised.
me your numbers. Give me your numbers. Give me your numbers. Give me your numbers.
We will win Gujarat.
We will win Gujarat. Producer, please record that. We'll play it again on Monday. Raj Chengappa.
Well, I'm not going to predict the outcome, but if what our exit poll is true, if it's true, then Prime Minister Modi and the BJP is in pole position for 2019 and the elections that follow. But the Congress shouldn't feel disheartened. Rahul Gandhi was able to land a lot of punches. He brought a certain vigor that we hadn't seen in the party for a long time. If he gets his act right, he is now the prime challenger.
Okay, he's the prime challenger. Okay, let me give you my take. I've reached the end. Do I agree with the pollster? Here's my take. If the exit polls are right, the BJP's preeminent position in national politics is reinforced. Clearly, Narendra Modi's charisma and son of the soil image would have arrested the anti-incumbency on the ground in Gujarat. The Congress also has reason for hope. If the party could build wider social coalitions and a strong local leadership, it can offer a challenge to the BJP. But remember, these are exit polls and we must wait for the final verdict before saying more. Like a good Maharashtrian, my money is in my pocket. For now, Gujarat remains the Bengal of the 21st century, a state which is a dominant party state, especially in urban Gujarat. That's it on the show. I'm going to leave you with a nice Gujarati song to end. Kaun banega Gujarat ka Sardar. Don't worry. I'm back 7 a.m. Monday morning with the real results. This was only the teaser. Bye for now. As they say, before you have a full meal in Gujarat, always have a bit of fafda and jalebi. Today this was fafda and jalebi. We'll give you the thali on Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.